All right, so we're diving deep today, and we're going to be looking at some really interesting stuff that
Yeah.
you sent over. Um, and the piece that really stood out to me today is this book by Tarek Ryman, The Camino Within. Have you heard of this one?
I have, yeah.
It's
It's quite popular with people who are into personal development and self-discovery.
Yeah, and the part that we're zeroing in on is chapter 26. It's called "The Only Obstacle Is."
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
It is a good one,
Oh,
and I mean it's kind of like a punch in the gut a little bit,
right.
but in a good way.
Right. It gets you thinking.
It does, it does. And so in this chapter, uh, Raman's talking about his experience biking the Camino de Santiago, which is this, this huge pilgrimage route in Europe.
Yeah, it's pretty intense.
Yeah, yeah. And he's biking it solo, right? He's got everything he needs for like his whole journey strapped to his bike and he's making his way.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. And he's going along and he comes across this group of cyclists
Mm-hmm.
and these cyclists are like fully supported. They've got a van like following them.
A van.
Yeah, like a support van. It's carrying all their gear and their food and their water. And I mean, they've even got like a mechanic on hand for bike repairs.
Wow. So they're like traveling light.
Exactly. They're just
Mhm.
cruising. They don't have any of that weight slowing them down.
I can see how that would be tempting.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like if you're out there on your own, grinding it out, and then you see this group just breezing by.
Yeah.
It would be so easy to feel like, well, wait a minute. Why am I doing this the hard way?
Right. Right.
But here's the thing, and this is what I love about this story. Um, Reman, even with all his stuff, even though he's like completely self-reliant, he ends up passing the supported group.
Really?
Yeah, he overtakes them.
That's amazing.
It is. And so he talks about this in the book, and he's like, the fact that someone else has it easier for now
Mm-hmm.
is not an excuse for you to hold back or to not give your best.
That's powerful.
Right. And it's so relevant to like everything we're trying to do. Like when we're trying to learn something new or achieve a goal,
Yeah.
it's so easy to get caught up in comparing ourselves to other people.
Absolutely.
Right.
And to feel like we're at a disadvantage.
Exactly. And that can totally hold us back. But Ryman's experience is like the perfect example of how that's just not true.
Right. You don't need all the bells and whistles.
You don't.
Huh?
And he goes on to say, dare to believe in you, dare greatly.
I love that.
Me too.
Yeah.
It's like this reminder that our own belief in ourselves is the most important thing.
Yeah, it's about our mindset.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And sometimes the biggest obstacle isn't out there in the world. It's us.
Yeah, we can get our own way.
Totally. And he actually says that in the book. He says, don't be an obstacle to yourself. So it's like all those doubts and those insecurities and that fear of failure.
Yeah.
Those are the things that can really trip us up.
More than any external challenge.
Exactly. And so Reitman's message is so important because it's like this permission slip to believe in ourselves.
Wow.
You
The trust in our own ability.
Exactly. And he says it so beautifully. He says, believe in you and move forward. No matter what messages you get from outside yourself, allow yourself to be who you know in your heart you can be. You're worthy of that.
Wow, that's so encouraging.
I know, right? It just gives me chills.
Yeah.
So to bring this back to you, like, think about a time when you felt stuck. Or maybe you were comparing yourself to someone else and feeling discouraged.
Okay.
How would it change things if you shifted your focus to what you're capable of, to your own strengths and your own resources?
That's a good question.
It is a good question.
Yeah.
And it's something I think we all need to ask ourselves more often.
We agree.
Because ultimately it's about believing in our own potential and having the courage to go after what we want, even if it feels like we don't have all the advantages that other people do.
And remembering that comparison is the thief of joy.
It is. It really is. So yeah, there you have it. A deep dive into The Only Obstacle Is You by Tarek Ryman. Hopefully this gives you a little something to think about on your own journey.
I think it will. And you know what I'm curious about? I wonder what Raymond would say about the role of mentors and support systems. Even though he champions self-reliance, I wonder if he acknowledges the value of having others to guide and encourage us along the way.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
And you know what? Maybe that's something we can explore in a future deep dive.
I'd love that.
Me too. All right. Until then, keep learning, keep growing, and most importantly, keep believing in yourself.
Absolutely.
We'll see you next time.
Okay.